Hello everyone and welcome back to another Sims 4 build. So this one, I'm actually building a little tiny house. I did have a little bit of trouble building this one just because it's kind of a smaller cramped space. It's not even like a one bedroom house. Like, yeah, there's a bedroom, but it's also like a part of the kitchen. So it's just this little tiny house that's perfect for one sim to live in, essentially. It's kind of meant to be like a little crafting cottage in a way, not a college. That would be a weird. It's not a college, one room college. That would be, whoa, I can't talk today. Here's where you get to watch me mess around with roof panels and roof pieces for way too long. I just had this really specific kind of look that I was going for this one, and it's more of like a Tudor kind of style, which is obviously why it's called like a Tudor cottage. And I was having trouble with the roof pieces going the way that I wanted and getting it to function the way that it's supposed to, especially with like having to build up like a little kind of fireplace and chimney there, because the chimneys that they have in the Sims just didn't quite match like what I wanted for this little Tudor style house. And so as you can see, like the roof panel at one point I had it like all bent at a weird angle, and it was just turning into more and more trouble, and I delete it, rebuild it, delete it, rebuild it, and that's just a constant thing. And then when I shrunk that, it deletes again. So there was definitely a lot of deleting and rebuilding in this particular one. And this one I discovered that it was best to use all these like little half panels and then kind of adjust them from there. And that actually started to look really good in terms of the actual house and the roofing. And then I was like, okay, cool, I got the front half of this that's looking really nice. And then I started having the same exact trouble with the back half. That it was like, oh great, now how do I get the back half to work? So there definitely is just like a lot of roof placement going on in this build over any other thing. There is some like footage from, I had to play test it with a sim in order to make sure that it was working. Here's where I discovered I accidentally made the house too big for the style and space that I wanted, so I had to shrink it, and then that helped me be able to fix the roof pieces a lot. But yeah, like there's like a little bit of play testing with a sim in order to make sure that these things just could be accessed the way that they needed to be accessed. My brain froze and I had zero clue what to talk about. I mean, I was literally just placing the roof panels. I did finally get to this point, and then I was like, oh, I like this. I can mess around with this. So that's where I started messing around with that, and then took that peak down that I really liked, and then started playing around in here in order to get this kind of a peak right, and start making it actually look really good. And it took a couple of those panels, but I did finally get it the way that I wanted it to look, and I'm satisfied with it in the end. I think it worked out just fine. I'm checking the roof for all the different sides, making sure that it does look good, and then of course stylizing the outside with this nice Tudor style that you get from the Get Together pack, I think it is, or is it the Parenthood? Something along there. It's like Get Together or Parenthood, and I really like it. I wish we had a little bit more options with that, because it does feel limiting in some scenarios. Like there's just not quite maybe the look I'm going for or whatever, and plus we need like some solid options and some more color matching kind of thing, because the color doesn't quite match, but I still think it looks quite lovely, even though the color is off from the kind of like Shakespearean part there to the more solid color. And then here I am messing around with some platforms and then testing doors. I had a specific style for the door. I wanted kind of like this cottage barn door, one of those ones that splits in half in the middle and would typically open at that point, but of course the Sims doesn't have that kind of a door. And so I was just looking for the right color, right style, something that would look incredibly similar to what I had imagined in my head. Since I've made my other videos, I have gotten a few new packs as well, so I've added more to my collection. There's a few packs that I just don't ever plan on getting because they're like gameplay based, and I'm definitely not a gameplay based simmer. That's not what I find very interesting. So here I am making the nice little patio that ends up changing quite substantially because of issues dealing with the fact that apparently with the roof there, the Sims couldn't go up the stairs, which was a different issue to solve. So then just kind of adjusting some windows, building like the bathroom, checking to make sure I've got stuff where I want it, and then adding a nice little fence around the entire yard to kind of block it off. And then I wanted to try and match the colors as much as possible. And I do think it ends up looking very lovely from the outside, especially once I start getting some of this landscaping in there, like the nice little pathway and the darker kind of grass. And then I am also going to build a pond in the back as well. I like these hedges. Like I think these hedges look really good for the front of the house. It also helps block off the front yard a little bit from the back, and of course adding in that nice fluffy grass. I love the look of that grass. It's very multifunctional. So I'm just trying to find the right kind of thing that I want for my pond, and then making it look like a pond. I really tried to cover up the entirety of that ring around the pond because I didn't like the look of it. Like the rings that they have for ponds and pools are really plain, and so I wish we had more options in that kind of area because it would really help with just landscaping design. So here I am, literally burying it underneath flowers, and I don't remember when they added in like the live animal kind of thing, and I'm actually really happy with how it looks. Like you can see them swimming around, you can see the little bugs, and it makes it feel so much more realistic. And then of course I have clipping from the hedges as to be expected, so I made this a little crafting corner and then just kind of hid the fact that it was clipping through behind those. I thought I was quite clever trying to find a good way to hide that behind there, and then making this little tiny kitchen area. And then I added in I had to add in a wall temporarily so that way I could add in this nice little lovely hanging cabinets over there over the top of that, because I really wanted just kind of some more cabinet space and a way to kind of separate the kitchen off a little bit more. And when you have that wall, it really just helps with the stylize of that, and so I had a lot of fun putting that into place. And then I was gonna add like a little post, but with like the trash can and the way that I had done like the counter, I was like, this does not look good, so we weren't doing anything like that. And then I do delete one of those room dividers for the final version, which is uploaded to the gallery. It wasn't working with the placement of the couch and everything. Like the Sim just couldn't get through there. Like I was having various issues, so I do get rid of one of the room dividers, but I think the one still helps separate out a nice area enough. And then playing around with what kind of tables and chairs I want. The table ends up only having 2 chairs, as it does here. That's going to be in the final version as well, just for the sake of space and being able to move effectively around in the Sims, because they need so much room. And then I was just trying to find like a good kind of floor rug for over there, and ended up going with one from Journey to Batuu, which is obviously from the Star Wars pack. And I know a lot of people were, avoiding that one. I just like some of the build items that comes out of it, which is why I bought it. I'm not the hugest Star Wars fan, but that rug ended up looking super nice on the floor there, just as like a little bit of a separation from the kind of normal space. So I'm glad that it's in the pack. Of course, anybody can replace it with anything, so it's not like it's a huge loss of item if somebody wants to download this and they don't have Journey to Batuu kind of thing. And then, of course, building a nice little closet space for the Sim who might live here. Just wanted a small room for that. I mean, you can think of it as where they go to change their clothes, mud room, whatever. I mean, it's only accessible through the kitchen there. So then here I am with a sim that it just randomly generated, and I'm messing around with the build some more. And that's pretty much what I was doing, is testing that. And that's when I discovered that part of the reason why they couldn't get in wasn't because of some of my build items, but because of the fact that the porch was too high. And so then here is what it looks like in the final version. I think it looks quite lovely from the outside. I really like the stonework, and I like how I managed to pretty much hide that kind of like clunky degradation of the stone into the normal kind of like stucco structure of the outside with the leaves. Then the inside is just gorgeous. I mean, it's just a small space for one little sim. You don't need much. Just need a little space to live and take care of the most basic of needs, build some skills, have a little bit of nice time. Cute closet. So, let me know if you liked the video in the normal ways that you tell people, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!